Hold on. I got a new little backdrop thingy. Look at that. I'm fancy. I got a computer stand. Big time, baby. A computer stand. Yeah. Woohoo. See? I got a little backdrop thingy at my camera store. Look at that. That's high tech there, baby. Nothing but the best. How is everyone? How was everybody's protest? Sorry, I'm finishing lunch. I apologize. I had an air conditioning person come by. I have a take on Saturday. Oh, wow. That's great to hear. I saw young, old, dinosaurs, unicorns. I saw bananas. I don't think I saw any frogs. Young, old, our congressman was there. It was really cool to see it. I want to challenge on Saturday a little bit. I want to throw this out there, just something to chew on. Was it a protest or a rally? What did it solve? And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to propose a different perspective here. They were cute and funny. We protested in June. So bear with me for a second here. In June, we protested. July, August, September, nothing. And then on Saturday, we protested. We probably won't protest again until next year. What happened? We woke up on a Saturday outside of working hours. We made signs. We stood out there for 2 hours, sung songs, were joyous. I am not diminishing that at all. That's not my point. And then we went home and watched Netflix. Posted pictures, high-fived, and everything was great. Sunday, we woke up, went to church, slept in, went for a walk, then watched football. Today, we went to work. What came out of it? And again, I'm not trying to be poo-poo in what happened. I'm not doing that at all. That is not my intent. But two things can be true. It was good what we did. It showed people are angry. But what did it do? What was the ask? No, it wasn't violent at all. It was great. What was the outcome of it? How has it moved the needle? Because that's what really has to happen. 7-8 million people. But I'm going to push back on that too, Madeline. I'm going to push back a little bit today. Out of 330 million people, only 7 million came out to protest. When you look at it from that perspective, and this is why I think it's privilege. There's people right now I think it's 147 Americans have been picked up by ICE, U.S. citizens, just because they weren't white enough. We have Black Hawk helicopters coming down on apartment buildings in Chicago. Okay? Zip tying 10-year-olds, throwing in the back of U-Hauls, holding U.S. citizens against their will because they were the wrong demographic. Flashbangs, breaking hinges off of doors at 3 a.m., grabbing people out of their beds naked. We have people in concentration camps in Florida still, drinking out of toilets, getting 1 shower a week, 1 meal a day. We have armed guards in our cities that are racially profiling people. People's health benefits are going away, Medicaid, Medicare. We have the President of the United States dropping dog crap, feces, on protesters on an AI video. It's disgusting and it's vile. So my question is, thinking about the grand scheme of things, what did Saturday move the needle on? That's what I'm asking for. It didn't. Because we weren't uncomfortable. We're unwilling to be uncomfortable. How many people here are willing to stop working and stop paying federal taxes to stop this? Because if you're not willing to do that, then the changes are going to happen. There's too many people still in this country that want to stop fascism being comfortable, watching Netflix, working at their jobs. If 30 million people in this country stop going to work, if teachers didn't go to work, if union workers didn't go to work, if farmers didn't go to work, if UPS didn't go to work, and we said, until you stop this, we're not going to participate in the social experiment, change would happen. But we're not willing to do that yet. I can't work. I have to work. I have to work. I can't afford not to. I'm going to keep it 100. I've always been 100. I am who I am. Those are excuses not to stop it. And Justro says, how do you suggest renters pay the rent? I don't have the answers to everything. But what I know this is doing nothing is a lot worse than how it's going to end up. Because here's how it's going to end up. The non-white people right now, because it doesn't affect us because we're worried about our rent, what do you think is going to happen when they round up every undocumented non-white person in this country? Who's going to come after next? People that were born here. Birthright citizenship. Then who's next? Probably black people. Then who's next? Well, you're not white enough. You're not Christian enough, Paul. You don't align with our political ideology. You're next. What's going to happen to the US dollar when it's not the world currency? We lost all of our trade of soybeans to China. It's going to Brazil and Argentina. It's gone. Even if we bail them out, it doesn't fix the problem. Next year and next year and next year, it's not coming back. It's gone. So when we look at it from a micro level, we're looking at today. And I understand that. We're looking at today. I have breadcrumbs today. You may not even have a house to eat breadcrumbs in 6 months. That's what I'm trying to get you to focus on. They want us to be poor and broke. They don't want you to push back against the system. They want you to be afraid. They want you to have this conversation. I have bills to pay. I have a job. I do too. You don't think by me doing this that I've lost customers? Absolutely, I have thousands of dollars in business. But I don't care because this is the right thing to do. You're right. What happens when they imprison you for being homeless? Because they're talking about that right now. Kid Freshie, you are not blocked. I don't see all the comments as much as I try to. Yes, the Democrats are the do-nothing Democrats. I went into a live today on TikTok and talked to some Democrats that are the blue MAGA. And they made the excuse for the Democrats, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Like, I want them to fight. And their comment was, well, you want them to fight a fight even if you can't win? Yeah. Damn right I do. I want them to fight every fight, even if they lose every fight. They're not even getting a ring right now. Example, the impeachment a couple months ago. 134 or 143 Democrats refused to vote for it. Why? Because it wasn't politically beneficial. Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't even fight. 10 Democrats voted for the CR. 10 voted to censure Al Green. 50 voted for Marco Rubio. Cory Booker voted for Charles Kushner, a convicted felon. You're right. Hakeem Jeffries hasn't even endorsed Mamdani. What was it, like 2 months ago he won? What are you seeing up in the Northeast? You have an oyster farmer who is a regular person like you and I that's doing this because he wants to have a better future for us and his family. And you have a 77-year-old dinosaur, Janet Mills, that should be retired. And who is the political Democrats endorsing? The 77-year-old, because she's the establishment. Hakeem's is a Timo congressman. He's a joke. The Democratic Party is an abject failure. And anybody that can't admit that is either not being sincere or they have their heads so far up their back ends that they don't want to accept reality. They're a joke. It is a clown circus. 2 weeks ago, my congressman, Eric Swalwell, was hawking merch for No Kings rallies. 10% of sales were going to his political campaign. So a congressman, my congressman, Seeing fascism is selling merchandise off of us. 2 months ago, I interviewed Eric Swalwell. I asked him to work on a general strike. They would only do it if it helped the Democrats win in the midterms. And at the same time, he acknowledged if they don't win the midterms, democracy's probably gone. So he is willing, and the Democrats are willing, to jeopardize democracy and sit by and do diddly jack if they don't get elected. Because they know that you and I, that we have to vote for them because they're the lesser of two evils. That's what they're banking on. Are they wrong? Not really. We're still coming up with excuses. Can you imagine if Martin Luther King didn't give a speech or do what he did because, I can't afford not to? Or what if Rosa Parks didn't do what she did? Or what if Harriet Tubman didn't build the Underground Railroad? Or what if John Lewis hadn't crossed the bridge? I want you to think about this. What if they said, oh, I have bills to pay. I can't afford to fight for equality. I don't know. That's exactly what we're saying. And I'm not saying that your concerns aren't valid, but it's bullshit. It's an excuse not to fight fascism. It's an excuse to stay in our comfort zone. We can choose to live on a couple of breadcrumbs right now, or we can live on breadcrumbs and then not even have a house. Hi, Eli. You can sign the general strike petition. Here, I have my computer now. Hold on. I have the answers and I have the solution, but people don't want to be uncomfortable. That's where we are in this process. People haven't suffered enough yet from what's happening. There's too many people still living in privilege. Hold on. There it is. I'm going to tell you this, protesting every 3 months on a Saturday, it's not going to cut it. Calling your congressmen, they don't care. Give me another solution. But no fear. Who's willing? People aren't willing. Look at this. We had 330 million people live in this country, okay? 75 million people voted for Harris. 90 million people didn't vote. Okay, so just look at the numbers. This is just math. So you're saying between the 75 million that voted for Harris plus the 90 million people that didn't vote for either party, that's 165 million people that didn't vote for this guy. 8 million people is all we got. Think about that. Think about the math. Hold on. Let me look at the, what percentage is that? 8 divided by, what is it, 165? No, what is it, 165? That's like less than 5%. Eli, the No Kings protest made us feel good. I'm just going to be 100%. It felt like we did something on a Saturday outside of working hours. And as harsh as that sounds, that's just the reality. Politicians tell us what we want to hear. Martin Luther King said that a leader is not a searcher of consensus, they're a molder of consensus. Politicians tell you what they want to hear. And I'm telling you, we have to go on a general strike. It's going to suck. People are going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their houses. But I'm going to tell you what, doing nothing is one hell of a lot worse than suffering now. We have to stop looking at it from the micro and look at it from the macro. Look at it from the larger picture. What's going to happen to your job in 6 months if we don't regulate AI? How many women have to pass away from lack of health care? How many citizens have to be detained because they weren't white enough? How many priests have to be pepperballed in the face by an ICE agent? How many cities have to have military before we start caring? With guns, intimidating people. Is it martial law? Daryl Smith says, what if the general strike leads to a vacuum that allows an even more oppressive regime? What's more oppressive than this? What's more oppressive than where we are? We have the president of the United States creating AI videos where he's flying an F-16 over a U.S. city that are peacefully protesting, dropping shit on protesters. Are we serious? Are we serious? How much bad do we want it? They're firing 10,000 federal workers. They're talking about not giving back pay to people. The soldiers still don't have pay. How much worse do you want it? Rural hospitals are shutting down. People are going to die from lack of health care. I'm just being 100. This is the conversation that Democrats should be having with you, and they're not. They're not. They're giving bullshit interviews on Brian Cohen and Midas Touch and CNN and MSNBC because it's all performative. I'm just being 100. It is bullshit. It's talk. Faith without works is dead. I want to see the Democrats do something. And they're not. When Mike Johnson put him in a recess for 6 weeks, what they should have done, Hakeem Jeffries should have told every Democrat, you better get your asses here within 2 days. I don't care if you have to walk, crawl, or hop, bounce on your head. You be here, or I'm going to censure you, and then I'm going to primary you. We're going to protest with the people in D.C. when the National Guard was here. Bring a sleeping bag, bring a pillow, bring a toothbrush. We're going to go into Congress, and we're going to open up Congress, and we're going to hold hearings. And you know what? If they're going to arrest us, then so be it. We're going to bring the media in here, and we're going to tell the American people what's actually happening. That's what the Democrats should have done, but they didn't because they don't have the balls to do it. They're all talk. Give me $10. Give me $5. You have to vote for me in the midterms. Hey, the house is on fire. That's a shame. Watch me go on MSNBC. Ooh, we're fighting for you. Maybe a year and a half, we're going to open up a fourth January 6th hearing. Oh, no. We'll pull you in front of Congress and testify. Oh, no. Who's going to prosecute him? Pam Bondi? Kash Patel? What good is it? It's bullshit. They're all grifters. They are. I don't even know if I have that video. Let me see if I can find it from Eric Swalwell. But I'm just being honest, people. You know, and I had a family. My in-laws came up, not to me, to my wife, and they go, I don't like Paul's language. Here, this is why this is why I care, okay? I don't make any money off of this. I care because I'm a person of faith, and I don't care if you are or not. It doesn't matter to me. When I hear love thy neighbor as thyself, you're my neighbors. The people that are being grabbed by ICE, those are my neighbors. And if that was my kid or my wife or my mom or my dad or my cousins, I would be pissed off. And when I see people being mistreated, I act as if it was somebody that I personally know. That's the problem with this country. We only give a shit about something when it comes to our front door, and that's a problem. When we start caring about other people as much as ourselves, then we'll actually care. But we're not even willing to stop working because we need to work. It's a privileged thing to say that because it hasn't come to our door yet. Let me see Eric Swalwell. Hold on. Eric Swalwell. Let me find this video for Eric Swalwell. Hold on. No King's merch. Hold on. Videos. Here it is. Hold on. Let me pull it.
Basically planning a second career as well.
This is Eric Swalwell.
Yeah, he's got merch.
No Kings Rally is just a couple weeks away. I've partnered with No Kings here. Check out our merch. And I'll see you throughout.
Oh, nice flex.
Does that seem like a congressman in the Democratic Party that actually understands the gravity of this moment? Dancing around like a supermodel, selling merch, making 10% to the re-elect my dumbass in a month and a year and a half, assuming we still have a democracy. This is the Democratic Party. These are the people that say, I love Eric Swalwell. This is my congressman. He doesn't care. He wants to open hearings and just talk to people. They're not willing to shut it down. Again, when I interviewed him, he said he would only be open to a general strike if it registered voters and helped them win. I don't know if I can. I like him as a person. I'm talking about him as a congressperson. Let me see if I can do this. I don't know how to. Yeah, I have a video of it. I'll figure out how to do it. Okay, you can unsubscribe. That's fine. Have a good day. Yeah. Union workers, social. Yeah, there was that quote said, first they came for the socialists, but I wasn't a socialist, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the union work, the unions, but I wasn't union, so I didn't say anything. Then they came for the Jews, and I wasn't a Jew, but I didn't do anything. Then they came for me, and there's nobody left. And that's what too many of us are doing. We're watching them go down the list, and every time they go down the list, you know what we say? But I need a job. I have to work. I can't afford to. That's what we're doing. What's good? I want you to think about this. What happens when they come for you? Are you going to tell them, hey, you can't arrest me. I have a job. I can't afford to go to jail. You're not going to have a choice. That's what I'm trying to relay. How do we break the Democrat Republican? We have to be telling that we're going to go on a strike. You reverse Citizens United, you increase minimum wage, you put in gun reform, you reinstate Roe versus Wade, and you put term limits on Congress and the Supreme Court. If we're not going to fix the system itself, it doesn't matter. If your house is built on a foundation that is broken, that is sinking into the dirt, it doesn't matter how many times you rebuild a house, it's going to keep sinking into the ground because it has a bad foundation. This country, this government has a broken foundation. It is not serving us. And they want you and I to feel helpless and say, well, you don't have a choice. You have to vote for the two-party system. That's like staying in an abusive relationship. We don't have to do anything. We choose to because we're being complicit. We could know fear, just faith. We can do anything we want as people. But we haven't shown that we have the backbone to do it yet. They're two sides of the same coin. Hakeem, here, let me look up the stats. Hold on, from APAC money. APAC. So like it's APAC. What's it called? APAC donations. APAC tracker. Here it is. Hold on. Joe Biden took over $4 million. Harris took over $2 million. Mitch McConnell's taken over $2 million. Cory Booker's taken almost $800,000 from APAC. They're all taking money while we're getting screwed. All of us. Let's see, Congress. Hall of Shame. Here we go. Yep. They're all, oh, here it is, Trump administration. Donald Trump has taken $230 million from APAC. JD Vance, $167,000. Marco Rubio, over $1 million. Mike Waltz, $246,000. Gabbard, $46,000. They're all taking money. Cory Booker on If I Had a Podcast was asked about the $800,000. And his response, without even flinching, was, well, that's only 1% of my donations. Now think about that. Many people right now in this country are putting their rent and their mortgages on their credit card because they can't afford to pay their bills. Just think about that. And this guy that claims to be the representative of the working class is downplaying an $800,000 in donations from a super PAC. That's how little $800,000 means to Cory Booker. And it's not a Democrat thing, it's a Republican thing. But just think about that. And Bob, you're right. If we go on a protest, could it get worse? Yeah, it could get better. But I'll tell you this. If you're on the Titanic, okay, and you see the iceberg coming ahead, would you rather storm the captain's chamber and have a chance of avoiding the iceberg? Or would you rather just eat dinner and play chess and play shuffleboard on the deck and say, well, we're going to hit it anyway? Now, for me, I would rather take my chances and storm the captain's chamber. That's how I look at it. I think it is that simple. I really do. I don't want to watch this country just go away without putting up a fight. I can't worry about what could happen. I can only affect what I'm going to do. I don't know who Joe Sims is, the chairman of the CPUSA. I'll look it up. I don't know what that is. Oh, hello. I don't know anything about that party. I don't mess with that party. Corporations should not be able to donate. Correct. Part of this country wants fascism and they want white supremacy. They just do. Somebody said, I don't see what Texas say. I don't see what she says. You can't talk to MAGA. You can't debate them. You can't use facts because they don't care. It's an emotional response. They don't want white people. They're fine with a white man that rapes a woman, who's a felon, who cheats on his wife. They don't care. They would rather demonize brown people that have been here for 40 years that have never committed crimes, except they have wrong documentation. That's how they justify their white supremacy. I didn't see what Texas Goddess says. Sorry. Is it up there farther? I don't see her. Oh. Yeah, and they did this overseas in Nepal. They took over parliament. Now, I'm not saying we do that, but we have to do a French-style revolution. I still think there's a lot of us that are thinking that the Democratic Party are going to save us, and they're not. The Democratic Party is going to save the Democratic Party. They don't care. They're going to pull themselves into a lifeboat, like on the Titanic. And when we hit the iceberg, what happened? Who were on the boats first? The rich people. Jack and his girlfriend and all them, their asses were in the water. No one was left for them. The rich people are going to make out when this happens. So we have a choice to do something now, or hope and pray that we end up in a lifeboat. The majority of us are not. The rich people will be in the lifeboats. That's just a fact. Look at the Matrix. Morpheus told Neo what? What did he tell him? We're basically a Duracell battery. We are. We supply this machine city. America is the Matrix. We're raised in this country where we say we're great. We're raised in American flag diapers. We're told that we're the best of the best. We go to school and we worship this flag as if it's a god, right? We kneel before it, we pray to it, we take off our hats, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. We eat our Freedom Wheaties. We feed our pet bald eagle. We go to work with God Bless America and the Constitution on our truck and 400,000 flags and a gun in the back. That's what we've been told our whole lives, and it's a lie. It's only been great for white people. And then what happens? You unplug from the Matrix. And you're like, well, the Matrix wasn't real. It was all a lie, like the Truman Show. And you see the real world. Now, is it not sexy and pretty like the Matrix? Yeah, but it's what the actual real world is. And then you can start to actually fix what's wrong with it. But what's happened is two people, aren't unplugged from the Matrix. And some people that are, they see this country for what it is, a racist country. They want to be like Cyrus and they want to be plugged back into the Matrix. When Cyrus talked to Agent Smith at dinner with that steak, he said, you understand that it's not real. He said, yeah, but ignorance is bliss. Part of this country would rather burn it to the ground than have a black woman be president. We have to accept that that's just part of this country. No matter what you and I say, what we do, it doesn't matter. They want one demographic to run this country. Make America white again. Too many of them got triggered by a black man in the White House instead of picking their cotton. They lost their minds and they went back to the most morally bankrupt piece of human garbage white man. There's a quote, LBJ. I'll read you the quote because I keep, hold on. There's a quote from Lyndon Johnson. It's really good. Lyndon Johnson said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't even notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. People went to the voting booth in 24 and looked at Harris and Trump and said, well, she wants universal health care. She wants child tax credits. She wants to stop the war in Gaza. She wants to help people get out of student loan debt. She has a plan to help small businesses get started. Or we had this adjudicated rapist who's put $8 trillion on the debt, who caused an insurrection, who tried to overthrow an election, who's just a bad piece of shit. Well, this is really hard. I don't know. My faith, Jesus told me to vote for the rapist, so that's what I had to do. They voted for the guy that was stealing their wallet. They were never going to vote for a black woman, ever. I have not watched Churchill. I'm going to get there probably this week. Yes, Tommy, Argentina. So the farmers, again, voted for this dumbass twice. So in 2017, this brilliant guy playing 5D chess that has 3 failed marriages and 6 bankruptcies and 2 failed casinos said, we're going to start a trade war with China because I'm so smart. Our sales went from about 13 billion a year down to 3.1, almost nothing. So we spent 25 billion of our own tax dollars to bail them out. And what did the farmers do? Yeah, let's vote for him again because I'm a dumbass. He's a white man. I don't care. So they voted for this dumbass again because they're racist. And now they've sold nothing since May. Not one soybean has gone, and the sales are like almost basically nothing for the whole year. So what happened? When we had that first trade war with China, Argentina and Brazil saw an opportunity to take the market share. Half of our soybean business in this country goes to China, one country. So Argentina and Brazil teamed up, reduced their taxes, made it more productive, and they're basically selling to China now at a better price. And because of our tariffs, China has no reason to buy from us. And at the same time, China can say, all right, dumbasses, you want this idiot that wants to threaten us? Cool. We're going to buy our soybeans from Brazil and Argentina. So now, you and I, think about how dumb this is. You and I are paying more for goods and services on everything in this country. Tariffs, right? It's a tax. He's going to take part of that money. And he said last week, oh, this guy was walking around. He's like, oh, hey, Orange Daddy, I found billions of dollars just lying around from tariffs. Who knew? Like he just found him like walking and he found like a Post-it on the ground. So he wants to take part of our tariff money that we paid extra money on and give it to these dumbass farmers that don't like socialism. He wants to give them socialism a second time. So in his 2 terms, we're going to give farmers almost $50 billion in bailouts in socialism that they say they're against. Why? And because of the tariffs. And at the same time, he hasn't bailed out the farmers at all yet because nothing's been approved. He's giving $40 billion to Argentina, who is stealing the soybean business from the farmers. So he's going to bail out Argentina, and then he's going to bail out the farmers. Probably we're going to spend about $60 billion. Why are we bailing out Argentina? Because he likes them. $40 billion. When we can use what? We need what? $60 billion for the tax credits for Medicaid? He's literally giving our Medicaid subsidies to Argentina without any approval from Congress. Am I fiscally conservative? I don't even like fiscally conservative because I don't think that being financially responsible should be a Democrat or a Republican issue. I think you want a balanced budget. I don't want $36 trillion in debt. And conservatives aren't fiscally responsible because they keep giving rich people tax breaks and they do nothing for the working class. There's nothing, hi Mimi, there's nothing fiscally responsible about them. The Republicans voted for a man who's a rapist. I'm sorry, that added $8 trillion to the debt. Now he's added another $8 trillion and we're only in his first year. What exactly is responsible about that? Giving tax breaks to the rich people and shitting on us to balance the budgets out? That's not fiscally responsible. That's ridiculous. Let's see. No student debt. Good afternoon. Yeah, I think for the student debt, Sacramento, this is what I would do. Whatever debt is out there right now, we should, whatever's outstanding, Have them pay just back the principal. Take off all if it's a government loan, it's government money. We shouldn't profit off of it. Help them get out of debt so they can buy a house or a car and be debt free. Take off the interest and just have them pay the principal. Going forward, put 2% on the loan. It's tax money. We keep telling people to pick themselves up by the bootstraps, to go to college, to do this, to do that. And then they're in debt for 20 years. Oh, maybe I did turn on. And then they can't afford a house. And then they only make about $50,000 a year, and they never offset the cost. The cost of going to college doesn't justify what they're making. So they're in debt, and they have less assets. It takes too long to balance it. People aren't buying houses until I think almost 40 years old now. It's crazy. I like that you are educated and diligent. How do we take Trump out? Trump is not the problem with this country. Trump is a symptom. It's like taking a black light in a hotel room and going on the sheets. And I think a lot of people are underestimating that. When Hitler came to power, when Benito Mussolini came to power, Joseph Stalin, they all had people that enabled them. Right now, an entire political party, you could argue 2 political parties are letting this guy do what he's doing. And there's still people in this country that are fine with it because they haven't lost their jobs yet. Until you address that, it doesn't matter. This isn't about policy. It's not about taxes or tariffs. It's about morality. It's about white supremacy, really, when you break it all down. The issue is why people from my job are quitting because they aren't getting paid enough because our stores are getting enough sales. Yeah, correct. And Eli, that's what's going to happen. And what I think is going to happen in November and December, when a lot of small businesses, Black Friday, when they get out of the red and go into the black, I think a lot of businesses are not going to do that this year. You might have some, but the majority of them, it's not going to happen. It's just not. I think a lot of people are going to stop spending. When you look at Disneyland, when you look at Las Vegas, I think tourism from Canada down about 80%. These dumbasses are decimating the U.S. economy because America first, because they're so worried about gay people and immigrants and trans people and tampons in boys' bathrooms that they don't care about the real issues. They've been told to be stuck and feared about culture war after culture war after culture war. A great party, but I don't think that Jill Stein is a serious person. I believe that Jill Stein is a troll. Where's Jill Stein right now? Why isn't she pushing a strike? Was she protesting? Let me find out. Jill Stein is really what Blue MAGA voted for. It was this elitist, snobbiness, perfectionist part of the Democratic Party. It's a protest vote. They got this guy elected by not voting for actual candidates. Let's see. Let me see if I can find Jill Stein. King's Day. Wait, what? The hell is she talking about? I'm trying to see if Jill Stein even went to the protests. She hasn't posted since July 2024 on Twitter. Let's see on Facebook. She hasn't posted on Twitter in a year. Yep, nowhere to be found. She's a troll. She's going to show up every 4 years, steal 1 million votes, and then go right back into her hole. He might not leave. I like Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders should have won in 2016. He would have won. I think, in my opinion, that the Democratic Party wanted to force a woman on the presidency in 2016 instead of picking the right candidate. I really believe that. Bernie Sanders was a better candidate. He had less baggage. He was more moderate. He wanted to tax the rich people. He spoke to the working class people, but they chose to choose the person with baggage. They did Bernie dirty. They absolutely did. It was a disgrace what the party did. I work at Express and our store is, I'm telling you what's going to happen. This is what the America First is. Nobody can afford to buy American goods because it's too expensive. We are not a manufacturing country. We are a consumer-driven country. You're going to have unemployment's going to go up. You're going to put a burden on the states because they're going to have more people get fired, and more people get fired, less income, less revenue, less tourism. Manufacturing is going to close, and you're going to put this massive burden. I believe Nebraska is 6 months away from going bankrupt, if I heard correctly. But they don't care because they just want to own the libs. They want you to suffer. That's it. They don't vote for themselves. That's a distinction. Thank you, Terry. I'm trying to figure out my videos if I should make the thumbnails. I mean, it takes a little time, but honestly, I think with the whole, as an example, like the Midas touches, I just feel like it feels like so rage bait. But there's also sometimes where I just have like a thought and I just want to put it out there. And what's tough with YouTube that I've discovered is that people are visual. So if I just post a video, people don't see it because they want to know what it's about. In the picture, it really, literally, it tells a story or 1,000 words. So it's this really tough thing I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, YouTube's different. It's a lot different than TikTok. It's a lot different creature. Black Friday, I think we should all not spend. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think that people aren't willing to not have... I don't believe, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong here, I don't believe that Americans are willing to not spend on Christmas. I just believe that we don't want to be that uncomfortable. I hate to say it, but I believe that it's true. Yet Nebraska's going to go right into the dump because of the economy. You guys were selling wool, if I'm not mistaken, to Canada. And what happened with the tariffs? Canada is now buying from South America. I believe Argentina. That's not going to come back. You cannot have tariffs on, tariffs off. To go from buying from a supplier in Nebraska for decades and then having to set up a whole new trade partner from South America, they're not going to. That's a massive process. You don't just change trade like that. It is a process. You have fixed costs. You know what's coming in. You know the lead times. You know what to expect. You open new relationships. You don't just stop those because all of a sudden America decided not to be a dumbass. I asked you, well, Donald, I can't respond to everything. I try my best. You would have to tag me if there's a question. I don't know about the Halloween Revolution. I'm sorry. The voting machines. I don't even know if the voting machines is going to matter, Donald, to be honest, because I don't know if we're going to have a free and fair election. We have all the Republicans gerrymandering the states, and now we have the Supreme Court with Judge Clarence Thomas up there who wants to be white so bad. He's probably going to vote against it. And they're probably going to overturn it, which means that 19 seats are going to be lost. Yep. Set a date for the strike. I can't do that until we have 3.5% of the population sign up for the strike. I have 5,000 people so far. 5,000. That's it. How many have looked at it? Let me see. Let's see. I can see it somewhere. No, it was like 120,000 a couple weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know what the views are now. Sorry, I would have to look. 330 million people, Eli. Now, those aren't all voting age adults. It's everybody. It's right here at the top of the chat. Wes Moore is doing a good job. I like him a lot. He's good. 7. It's right here at the top of the screen. It's a pinned comment at the top of the chat, buddy. It's right here. It's the pinned comment. It's the only one up there. It won't. And I think a lot of people are mistaken about the Epstein files. I think they think there's going to be this massive wave of, it's okay, don't worry about it. I mean, I guess what I don't understand is these people didn't care about Jean Carroll, 25 women he assaulted, 13-year-old Katie Johnson that him and Epstein assaulted. They didn't care about January 6th, the felonies, They didn't care about the asking for the death of 5 black boys. They didn't care about anything. They didn't give a damn. Why do you think they're going to believe about the Epstein files? They're just going to say, well, just because he's on there, it's not real. Or, oh, Joe Biden made it up. It's not real. Hey, nobody's perfect. I think we're still under the delusion that anything's going to move these people, and I don't think it is. I don't believe MLK would be very happy with Hakeem Jeffries. He's like a Timu version of Barack Obama, in my opinion. The government shutdown, I hope it stays down till next year. I really do. I believe that there's not enough people that are willing to go on a general strike willingly because we want to work and have money, which is cool. That's fine. But then we're going to have to be forced to be uncomfortable. And if the country has to shut down for 6 months or 9 months for us to wake the hell up and get out of our privilege and do what's necessary to stop this, then that's what has to happen. Force people to lose their jobs. I don't want anybody to lose their jobs. But if that's what it takes for this country to wake up and start caring about other people and get out of their comfort zone, then that's what's going to have to happen. It's going to have to be forced upon us. It's just the truth. Yeah, a lot of trade partners, Tommy, aren't using us. But his dumb base doesn't care. All they care about is owning the libs. Nothing else matters other than owning the libs. They could be eating garbage on the side of a street and they would still vote Republican. They've been told their whole lives that everything wrong in the world is a Democrat, and they don't have high education. They live in poverty, and they've been told that one person is bad and that this party's against God. I don't know how you fix that. They're not very smart, Lightmoach. They have concepts of brains. They're not bad people. They're dumb. They're really dumb. And they're racist. And you take that together, it's a bad combination. This is the same group that is descendant of the lost cause. The Civil War was fought to maintain slavery. And what did they do? Instead of losing and admitting they got beat, they said, oh, no. We didn't lose. It wasn't about slavery. It was about states' rights. So you started the Daughters of the Confederacy. And you create this lie that Robert E. Lee is some kind of a hero. He's a piece of shit. May he rot in hell. Over 200,000 people died for wanting to keep black people as slaves. But they created this whole narrative. They lied to their generation after generation after generation. And to this day, that generation believes lies. They're not very bright people. They are very easily manipulated. And when you give them a fact or something that goes against their perspective, they don't want to hear it. Yes, Ghislaine Maxwell will most likely get a pardon, and Mike Johnson will say, well, I'm sure he had a good reason for it. I didn't hear that. Well, maybe, it was actually a radical left court, and then his base won't care. He said, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose a vote. Was he wrong? No. He'll probably pardon. It's ridiculous that this king over here is just pardoning convicted felons like, Santos. It's just gross. It's like, what's the purpose of the rule of law? Everybody on January 6th went through the rule of law. They went through the courts. They went through due process. Many of them pleaded guilty. They said, I was wrong. And he still pardoned them. We don't have a democracy right now. We don't. And with Citizens United, it's never really been a democracy since 2010. Because when you have somebody like Elon Musk that can donate $300 million, how does that person have the same amount of influence on an election, on the political process as you and I? We don't. It's rich people are telling us who's going to run this country. And there's a perception of democracy. This is not a true democracy. We're told you have this option or this option. That's it. If you don't like it, too bad. And until we choose a different option, we're going to be stuck in it. Yeah, they're all a bunch of rich people. that are running this country. They want to keep kings. They want it to go back to 1787. Legit question: do our votes matter? The Electoral College is an antiquated thing that was used to screw up the system. No, we're in minority rule. I mean, California has 40 million people. 11% of the entire country live here. And we have the same amount of senators as Wyoming and Nebraska? Come on, man. That's stupid. Yeah, the Congress seats, that's one thing. But to have basically the state of Wyoming cancel out our vote with 40 million people when they have 500,000, it's ridiculous. But Tony, it could be America, but we can also change it. And when more people, I love ranked choice voting. I think every state should have it. I think it's great. Alaska does it really well. I believe New York does too, right? Puerto Rico has 3.2 million people. And the other islands, the other Virgin Islands, make up another, I think, about 200,000. They're U.S. citizens. Bad Bunny's a U.S. citizen. They should have representation. How could you have it? And D.C. should have representation. They have 500,000 people there. Puerto Rico has 3 million. That's more than probably 15 states in this country. They should absolutely have representation. They can pay taxes. If they're a U.S. territory, I am on Blue Sky. I try to post a little bit, not a whole lot. It's kind of a left-wing echo chamber. We need to boycott all the holidays. Oh, Tommy asked a question. Did I miss it? Where's Tommy? Oh, yes. Do you think it's ironic that Diddy is in prison, but Trump isn't? Yes, because this country wanted a white man. Now, don't forget that the case in New York with the 34 felonies was not dismissed. It was suspended. They can go back and revisit that after he's done and give him some penalties and still put him in jail if they choose to. Yeah, I don't know why Puerto Rico is not a state. I mean, they're either citizens or they're not. Yes, I went to the No Kings protest. We had about 5,000 people. It was pretty cool. That's what we talked about. I don't think that's enough, though. I think that's a start. But we have to do, so what we have to do on Saturday, that has to happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The only way that this country is going to care is if we shut it down. If a car is running, it needs fuel, right? That's what we are. We are the gasoline for this oligarchy, for this corporate machine. Stop working. Shut it down. We have the power to do it, but we're not willing to be uncomfortable. Yeah, a lot of people have forgotten about coming here. Yeah, and and a lot of people don't realize that the Statue of Liberty was given by France, but immigrants brought over the raw materials from, was it Rhode Island or Connecticut? I forgot. But yeah. Thank you, Trackhawks. I don't think that America would want me to be president. I would not operate in a way that would be political. I would shut the whole country down. I would. I would sleep in Congress until they pass gun reform, until they put women's rights back in there, until they reverse Citizens United and stop taking AIPAC money. That's what I would do. I would stay in Congress. I would get a sleeping bag with my CPAP, because that's what I have. Bring it on. Let's do this. I don't want to hear it. You want change, you're going to have to shut the system down. Change is not supposed to be easy or comfortable. You cannot make omelets without breaking a few eggs. I can protest until Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. Yeah, I'd hate for you to miss that. Yes, the Electoral College, just like it's suppression. It is. Just like Jim Crow. Just like Black Wall Street. Freedom carries sacrifice. Yeah, you're right, Art. A lot of people want the freedom without the sacrifice, and I think that's the problem. They don't want to break the eggs. And until people wake up, and I don't think they're going to change until they feel uncomfortable. until an ICE agent racially profiles them, until they're laid off, until their hours are reduced, until they lose their Medicaid. And if that's what has to happen for people to wake up in this country, then I'm all for it. Because if we're not going to willingly do it because we care about people, then we're going to be forced to do it when we only care about ourselves. That's what's going to happen here when people lose their SNAP benefits November 1st. They're already telling people that work in that department to expect violent people very angry and pissed off that aren't getting their SNAP benefits. They're training them to de-escalate. I got to be honest, the whole Medicaid, Medicare thing, I am not an expert on that, Eli. I'll be honest. I need to learn. I need to educate myself a little more, to be perfectly honest with you. Yes, the Midas Touch Network and the Lincoln Project, I don't see the point of it. I don't. Let's look. Let me show you something. And this is just my opinion. And I think that we as a society, we're addicted to outrage. Okay? That's what I think. Hold on. I'll show you something. It's designed to outrage you. Look. Probably can't see. It's too. Hold on. Something got on my lens. Hopefully that's better. It's still blurry. What's going on here? You see that? That's better. Do you see all this? Yellow arrows. Now let's read the headlines. GOP loses it. Trump gets a rude awakening. He's caught on tape. Exposes all. Ceasefire collapses. Mike panics on live TV. This is rage bait. It's a scam, people. They all do it. And I'm not here to say what they're doing is wrong, but I'm telling you, they're avoiding the issue. And that's why I started this. This is about one thing, not taxes, not tips, not your way of life. It's about white supremacy. This is all about maintaining white supremacy. Make America white again. How could we win the hearts of white supremacists? You're not. But we also have to talk about it. There are some people that will never change. There are some people that do it inadvertently, and they don't realize they're doing it. But it has to be me and my demographic, whether I like it or not. This is what I have. This is the privilege I have. With great power comes great responsibility. I can either, listen, you don't think I can make rage bait and I can make cat videos about and make millions of views? I could do that, but I'm choosing not to. Because this is a serious time and we need serious people. We need people that aren't grifting and screwing you people out of money. What? I don't consider myself a serious person if I did clickbait. I try to talk about all kinds of issues. I talk about the Trail of Tears. My next one's about the Middle Passage when we brought slaves over here and the bull sharks in the water. I talked about the Trail of Tears. I talk about white supremacy. I try to talk about actual issues. Yeah, it's not sexy, but I try to talk about things of substance. I don't want to be just another random person that just bullshit to make a couple of bucks on views on rage bait. I'm trying to be different. I'm trying to change the narrative. We need more serious people. We have too many children that just want to be entertained. They want to watch Dude Perfect and watch Frisbees be thrown around and cat videos of people doing funny dances and arguing with MAGA. That's what Dina Parker do. They spend hours every day yelling at MAGA, and then what do? They clip it out and they rage bait. Oh, listen to this dumb Trump supporter. Can you believe he said this? Click, 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 like. We're addicted to it. But they're doing it because there's a demand. If we didn't demand it, they wouldn't supply it. It's just like drugs. If we didn't demand drugs, they wouldn't give us drugs. South Park's a little different because it's designed to be a comedy show. It's not a news reporting agency. I do. I've gone back and forth with my AA thumbnails. I found what I've discovered is that a thumbnail tells a story, and I'm not very good with Canva. I'm trying to find something a little simpler that's not rage bait at the same time. The challenge with YouTube is we're very visual, right? So when I have a video and it's going up against this kind of stuff, right? This is what people are attracted. I don't want to be that, but I also don't want to have to create a fancy thumbnail every time. But a thumbnail tells a story. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Oh, I'm not going to get into the whole AI environment right now. I love The Daily Show. It's entertainment. It's a comedy show. I wouldn't consider them a news agency. Maybe that's just me. I bought flour and sugar. I got bottles of water. I got beef jerky and protein bars. I got the whole thing here. Yeah, South Park is good. They make fun of everybody. Left, right, middle. They don't care. They crap on everybody. I'm trying to be more independent. I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't even know, honestly, anymore what it means to even be a conservative. Voting for a rapist, voting for a convicted felon. January 6th was okay. I mean, J.D. Vance making excuses for people praising Hitler. Oh, they're just kids. They're 30 years old asking for people to go into gas chambers. What's funny about that? Haha, just kidding. Kids will be kids. They're normalizing this. Yeah, I am going to work. So if anybody knows, I need to develop a brand. I do want to start a podcast. I don't want to just do what everyone else does. I don't want to interview congressmen and senators. I have no desire to do that because they're part of the problem. I'm not going to normalize that kind of behavior. I'm not going to argue with MAGA. I want to talk about serious issues. If that involves me running for office one day, and if I run for president, maybe I will. I don't know. But I want to talk about actual issues that affect people, not just be a grifter. I don't know the Reform Party. I don't want to get stuck on tags and parties. I think we've done that. We've become too tribalistic in this society. Vote blue no matter who and own the libs. We've gotten way past that. I voted for Ross Perot. I voted for Ross Perot in my first election. He got 22% of the vote as an independent. I voted for McCain, and then I voted for Obama. So I thought he did a damn good job his first term. I've always voted for the best person. Well, thank you, Mario. I appreciate that. I'm just going to be who I'm going to be. And maybe I'll never be some crazy famous person, but I don't really care. That's not what this is about. I started this 2 years ago, walking in a park, making a TikTok video when I left the Republican Party a month after he got elected. Because they started, Eli, did I vote for Hillary? No. I voted for this dumbass, not because I liked him. I voted because I wanted something different, and I didn't watch a lot of news and educate myself. And I left the party, and I left the party within a month. And then I did everything I could to fight against it. I even went out to the election polling stations. A lot of people voted in 2016 because they were tired of the political system itself. It wasn't necessarily a vote for this donkey. They're like, hey, how much harm can you do? But now you just like the crap and the misogyny. It's disgusting. It is. I'm not proud of it. I was a dumbass. But what can I do? It also got me where I am today. I could say I didn't do that and lie. I'm not going to do that. I was a dumbass. I should have done better research. But I wasn't very engaged. I would go to the ballots like a lot of us do. And I went to a Baptist church and I was told I had to be a Republican. Just keeping it 100. And they basically tell you that abortion is the only thing that's awful and Democrats are evil. And I didn't think they were evil because I voted for Obama. But I got tired of the political system. So, anyway. Yes, I believe the independent party is the way to go. I think if I'm not mistaken, independents are now the number 2 registered voter in the state of California under Democrats. Yeah, I grew up in a Baptist church. I would not recommend that. Now, if you want to go to a Southern Baptist church, like Ebenezer Church, that's a real Baptist church. What I went to was this whitewashed, pull out your hymn book, kumbaya, wear your fancy clothes. No, I'm not into that. When I go to church now, I wear my shorts and my t-shirt and my 49ers jersey. You don't have to dress up to go to church. Just be who you are. Be authentic to who you are. Yeah. All right, my friends, I got to finish up some work and go to the gym. So if anybody, you go to my, if anybody knows, I need a graphic designer. I got to figure out some kind of like logo design thingy-mabobber. So if anybody has somebody, email me. I'm trying to find somebody. It has not been easy. So see you, what? I don't know what that means. See you, moron. Is that a typo? I hope so. Let's see, Tim. Anyway, thank you, Toby. All right, my friends. Have a great day. All right, bye-bye. Yeah, I think Tim, let me get rid of Tim really quick. Let me show him the door because, hold on. Where is Tim? Tim is a insecure little boy that needs a user. Goodbye, Tim. All right. Bye, my friends.